Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 9. My name is Aram Pertiwidi Putri Andayanana.
My name is Azizatu Muafa.
My name is Ratih Dewi Imratul Hasana.
And we are going to present the 16th chapter entitled The Airplane Crashes and Birds. So basically this chapter mainly talks about the airplane crashes that is caused by birds and how people in the field are trying to find a solution to solve the problem and to decrease the number of airplane crashes that is caused by birds. So first we come to the database of this case. So in October 1960, a Lockheed Electra airplane crashed to the ground because birds were sucked into its engine and the power was lost. And birds are a major hazard to airplane, particularly on takeoff and landing. Wait. Okay. And in the airplane crashes in October 1960, 62 people were died, and it is considered to be the biggest airplane crashes that is caused by birds in history.
And next, we talk about the next cycle of proof, which is the hypothesis. And the hypothesis um, for this, what? For this case is airport often seems very attractive places for birds to feed and rest. And you can find it in the book uh, on paragraph on paragraph 4. Okay, now we go to the next cycle of proof, which is the prediction. Based on our group discussion, we think that the predictions is one group of biologists had the idea that it was the warmth at the black tarmac that was attracting the girls. And for the next cycle of proof will be explained by my friends.
Okay, so the next is about the experiment. So based on our discussion, so the first experiment is one group of biologists set up electrically heated pads near the airfield. So based on this experiment, the result is failed. The other experiment, so displaying dead birds in uncomfortable looking positions near where flock of the same species usually appear. So here's actually the experiments were applied in three different places. The first one is the Amsterdam Schiphol Airport. So the result is failed. Actually, the technique that applied in this airport was succeed, but the unfortunately um, the stuffed bird soon became soaked with the rain and had to be replaced. So that make this experiment become failed. The second one is New Zealand Wellington Airport. So based on these experiments in this place, the result is was succeed. And the third one is New Zealand Whangarei Airport. So the result for these experiments is less success. And the next one is the other experiment will be explained by Arum.
So after conducting the previous experiment, there are several more experiments that was done by the experts. It is including firing shell crackers and then playing recordings of bird distress calls and then flying trained hawks or falcons over the airport and then also modeling the airplanes to make it look like predator birds, but none of the experiments were successful to actually cast away the birds from the runways or from the airport. And then after that, there are still many more experiments that was done, like filling in ditches where birds like to bath and drink. So they make the place where the birds used to bath and drink, make it dirty like that, and then closing down nearby garbage dumps where birds feed, and then also making sure the grass on the airport is of the correct length. But it is true the correct length at each airport is different. So one species of bird likes probably um, shorter grass, while the other species might like longer grass. And then next will be presented by Aziza.
Okay, now we talk about the last stage of cycle of proof, which is the verification. So, after the biologists or the scientists themselves had done a lot of experiments, there come the verification, in which if a particular species of bird is a problem at a particular airport, then its habit must be studied along with everything that affects the bird's climate. That affects the birds, like the climate, the nearby features attractive to birds, food availability, predators, and a host of other factors. So there are a lot of factors. And now we go to the 10th principles. And the first principle that we found is principle of objectivity. Principle of objectivity is the principle that everything, the conclusion, should based on the facts. And we think that when the airliner ran into a flock of starlings and birds were sucked into the engines and the power was lost is one of the example of principle of objectivity. It is because it is a fact. It is a fact that caused the accident on 1960 happened. And the second principle is principle of causality. The principle of causality is related with cause and effect relationship. And one example is a bird were sucked into the engines and the power was lost. The cause is birds were sucked into the engine and the effect is the power was lost. And the next principle will be explained by Latif.
Okay, so the next principle is principle of continuous discovery. As we know that principle of continuous discovery is like ongoing learning. So here, based on our discussions, we found that the principle of this principle of continuous discovery is people working in the field are confident that they can learn more about the birds and about how to reduce to a minimum the problems they pose to the humans. And the last principle is principle of relativeness. So principle of relativeness is principle where when where and when the phenomena happened in a set of relationships. So here the runways can be especially attractive in wet weather. Worms come up out of the grass and crawl on the runways, a veritable feast for birds, and the crews have to be set out to sweep up the worms before they attract great flock of birds. So yeah, that's all.
Okay, so that is all from our presentation and discussion. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Where?